back. We're back in black.
Ooh, we were just talking about education.
Talking about math.
And what are we going to talk about now?
I don't know. I had a lot of things I could have interjected with, but I just let you tell your
yeah,
whole
you
story
really did let
for
me go on for a while.
Because I know you're not gonna let me talk through your stories. You're just gonna keep going on and on.
Well, because I'll remember.
Like
that
I
I'm
have plenty of
still
thoughts
telling
about math and education that could have, but now it's a new episode. We gotta move on. Gotta go to the whole new topic.
So you're trying
That's how this shit always works.
guilting me now.
Yes, I am. Because you talk too goddamn much.
You didn't say a damn word.
I tried early on, and I was like, I'm not gonna bother.
Alright, what are your other
Anyways.
thoughts?
I don't know. I was gonna say, like, I was always really good at math.
No, not about
There we
math
go.
and education. We're putting it behind us.
God damn it! I have nothing else to talk about. All I'm thinking about is fucking math, because this is what you fucking said for the last, like, 20 minutes.
But to our audience, it's a whole new day.
Damn you, Artie! God!
They don't even remember the math song.
Suffocation! No breathing! Don't give a fuck! The cut my arm bleeding!
My last resort. You alright? Am I alright?
Would it be wrong? Would it be right?
Alright.
If I take my life tonight,
Nothing
there's a thought that
is
I might
fine.
mutilation out of sight.
In a contemplated
Suicide!
That's
Losing
enough.
my
No, that's enough of that. We don't need any more. What's this? What is this? Are you playing Evangelion
I
right
am.
now?
This is Evangelion.
Is this
I remember
1.0?
in Evangelion, I remember thinking that some of the angels looked like shit from Kirby. Like when they fight the giant diamond thing, I remember like, oh, that looks like the thing from Kirby.
That's amazing. I don't remember thinking that, but
I do.
now I'm thinking that. Yeah. It did
Evangelion ripped off Kirby.
Oh, what the fuck was that angel called?
Diamond.
Like,
one,
comment,
the
and
diamond
subscribe
one.
if you know what the diamond one is called.
If you can help us.
The only one I
you can
remember.
help educate us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
The only name I remember of an angel is Ramiel, and I'm pretty sure that's the first one.
I'm
they
not
played.
sure how the momentum works on this jumping thing.
Oh man.
Second boss.
Oh shit. This is the.
Oh, I
the
love
Ava
this
one.
boss.
This is my favorite as a kid.
Because of the song. Wait, they all have the same song. Never mind.
Yes. I will never die. I will never die. I
We used
will
to create
never
lyrics
die,
for
I will
the songs in
never die.
Kirby when we were kids.
Yes, those are not actual lyrics to the song. Those are the ones we made up.
I'm not sure if that's a legitimate way to diagnose autism, but it wouldn't surprise me.
What about the Yoshi story song? We did it all. At least it kind of sounds like they're saying that.
We were children. I was once children.
That's a different game for a different time.
Son of a bitch, give me some items to shoot at stuff.
But I will say that
Here we go with this shit.
that when they played Yoshi Story on Game Grumps, it was very much like a oh moment for me, where I did not remember the game being
Yeah,
like that
it's creepy.
at all.
It's a very unnerving
It is a
game.
fucking weird game.
It's weird and very strange.
And the reason I didn't remember is because even though we grew up playing Yoshi Story, I hadn't played it in like 10 years.
Yeah, we never owned it. Again, we rented
But,
it a bunch of times.
Right, we own it
Ooh,
now.
I love this where you like pick up the thingies.
We own it now, but I
And you
haven't
shoot
played
'em.
it as an adult. Whereas I've played this
Ah,
as an adult. But Yoshi Story, I hadn't played it, and I had played, however, Yoshi's Island, because they played that on Grumps like way long ago, and that was the first time I'd seen it, and I was like, oh man, this game looks adorable and awesome. So I played Yoshi's Island, I played Yoshi's Island DS, and I expected that Yoshi Story was just like those.
No.
Didn't realize
It is
at
about
all.
Yoshi's dying. There's a sinking feeling when you're playing the game, and then you've died enough times that you're losing all the Yoshis in like your little spot.
It's
And then
creepy.
you start to feel like really bad. You're like, oh my god, there's only one Yoshi left. Like this is so I've killed all of them. It's my fault. Like it's my fault there's no more Yoshis. And then it feels really bad. You're like, oh god.
I believe you because you're saying it so dramatically.
become
I
so
believe that
real.
it's really bad.
Oh god. And now I'm dying as Kirby. I don't know how much life I have because
This
this
is
is
so
broken.
real.
Shit, I'm gonna die.
Finally, it's
I have no
my
idea how much
lucky
health I
day.
have.
Just kill the fucking last thing. See, my heart is racing, cause this shit never happens to me.
Is it over?
Maybe? Looks like it.
Yeah, I killed a bunch of fucking geometric bastards. Here we go.
By the way,
crystal shards.
I know it's a bit late to say this, but from now on, anytime I sing a song in a video and you know what song it is, please comment. Because believe me, I would love to not feel alone in the
comment,
world.
and subscribe.
Like, that one was kind of easy. That was a fairly popular band. Not their most popular
Kirby's doing
song.
funny things.
Do
I
you
love
know?
the cutscenes
Do
in
you
this
know
game.
what that band was?
I wasn't paying attention to what you were singing.
Good.
Look at him eat that fucking apple. God damn. You go, Kirby. Ate the whole fucking core and everything. What a badass.
I've sang a lot of
Eating the
very
sandwiches. I
obscure
love the way they eat
songs.
shit in this game. This is the stuff as a kid where it's like I loved it so much, like aesthetically, that it's just feels fucking cool.
It's one of those games where the cutscenes are very short, but you get a very real sense of
but
adventure.
You're like, we're on an adventure, you have lovable characters doing cartoony shit, and it's just so much fun.
It's basically JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders without dialogue.
Yeah, bro, Aquastar. That's totally
Yeah, nothing to do with the first two.
it's gone. They realized they only had
The
two
theming
stars.
has left the building.
Yeah, bro. Oh, I got hurt. What power is this? I don't fucking know, because it doesn't want to display this shit for me. That shit is getting old.
Yeah.
Oh shit, double rock. Boom, bitch.
my
Big
God,
Kirby.
yes! Oh, yeah!
Which is bad here, because I'm going to get stuck in holes.
Yeah, not the best.
Boom.
Although it does let you do that.
Boom.
Oh, man.
Right on cars.
Have I mentioned that Kirby is the best game ever?
Yes. Shit.
Wait, how long has it been since the last video break?
Oh wait, this one's cool.
Maybe it hasn't been that long. I don't know. I lost track of the timing.
Now I can turn into the bird.
Oh yes!
The best thing in the game.
You actually got the bird on the first go.
This is like the best speedrunning
yeah.
tool. This was always my favorite
Dude,
for just
oh my
getting through the
God.
fucking game, man.
It was our dude. We used to fucking. There were times where we would
Dude,
just sit there.
oh my god, because it's a random chance, it gives you different
Show them.
different characters each time. Oh my god,
Wow.
I'm gonna keep using the bird, but it's pretty rare to get the bird, and so when you get it, you feel like a fucking badass. Oh shit.
All right, well you lost it. Show them again.
See, now I'm a fish. The fish does nothing, so it's
Magic
totally
card.
random. Tanuki does
Very
not much.
heavy. There's the
Bird.
There's
Just to
also
get into this.
there's
Alright,
also
I don't need it right
an
now.
owl, which is like the bird but heavy, I believe.
Oh, these like bowling ball looking things.
Look at those guys. He's
Look at
having
that
a
happy
good time.
fuck. He's just having a goddamn good time. He's probably playing Kirby.
Yeah. Kirby, the
That
game that's
little
like a high five.
Happy motherfucker.
I hope that catches on. I want more.
really do.
I hope everyone describes it
like
that way.
the meme of that, like that.
Whoa, what the hell was that adorable
It's like a
thing?
flan.
You look like a pudding.
I think it's a squid.
There's the owl.
Oh, the owl's.
Yes.
The owl's all right. He's not quite the birds. He's not as fast.
Yeah.
At least
he's
it
a
flies.
Very clunky flyer.
You'll get to your destination eventually.
The animation when he explodes out of it is
I love it. I was gonna comment. This game looks really nice.
yeah, I mean
Like I love the.
I'd
It's
say
one of those things. It's
for
that,
an N64 game.
I think
it
it's
looks
that,
nice.
but it's like that Nintendo polish where it goes really far with what it can handle.
yeah.
It's like the graphics aren't great, but it looks like.
If it weren't for
polished
the
and
fact that the
correct.
N64 is like the worst
It's cool.
console of all time.
But there are
then-
so much worse looking N64 games.
Yeah.
Like any game that's not by Nintendo generally looks like
You
shit
know,
on the N64.
Vic, I'm having a sort of like I'm putting together of points of data in my brain right now. It's generally accepted that the N64 was kind of a shit console because like the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis were top
Shit.
of the line when they came out, right?
Yeah.
And then the N64 and the PS1 came out. And I'm pretty sure the N64 was able to handle more than the PS1 was, like the
Yeah.
hardware. But the cartridges were cartridges, and they could not hold shit for space. So even though you could have a better looking game, you could not fit a better looking game onto one of the cartridges. Whereas
Yeah.
the PS1 had discs that could hold a lot more space, and you could make more than one of them. And so like you had games like the Final Fantasy games where even though the polygons were really lame and shitty, they had like the full FMV sequences, like these huge animated movies that looked amazing, which you could not fit onto the typical N64 disc. And this is partly why there were no RPGs on the N64.
Yeah.
They all came out for the PS1. Because it was also cheaper. It was cheaper to produce stuff on CDs. Just in general, the N64 was a console that no one wanted to make games for. Not unlike the GameCube, which came right after, because the GameCube had the tiny discs and everything was weird. But anyways,
this thing could double jump.
because the cartridges were so small, the games generally looked like shit. Now, the irony of this is that the N64 was our first console, and therefore we grew up as huge elitist Nintendo fans.
Oh yeah.
Like hardcore fuck Sony, fuck Microsoft fans.
We're kids.
Yeah. Well, it's like that. I mean, and I now criticize people for this a lot, and everyone does and should criticize you for this. Is brand loyalism to a brand that doesn't know you or give a fuck about you. You know, like what does Nintendo care about us other than that
they love that we're loyal to them.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They love it.
But what did they ever do to earn that loyalty?
What did they do
that
to
blind
deserve?
Loyalty? Like, what did they do that Sony and Microsoft didn't, I guess is what I should be saying.
They didn't give us Kirby.
All they did was
they
be
made
the
shooting
console
games
we had.
instead of cute games.
There
Like
were
I'm
plenty
sure
of
if we
cute
saw
games
if
for
we
the
saw a
PS1.
commercial for a really cute game on the other consoles and we wanted it, then maybe we could have got it.
Well, the
but
fact of
I
the
never
matter
remember
is,
wanting a PS1 ever.
I just didn't know anything about the PS1 because
Whereas Nintendo had great marketing with like Smash Bros. Like I still remember the Smash Bros. Commercial.
Okay. See, the thing is, the reason you remember Nintendo so well, not just because I mean that Smash Bros. Commercial was classic, but because I was a huge Nintendo fanboy because I had Nintendo Power.
Yeah.
The reason we had Nintendo Power is because we were into Pokemon. And
there you go. They had Pokemon.
Right. Well, like, I wouldn't have known that Pokemon was a Nintendo product, or even probably that it was Japanese, if not for the fact that when we got heavy into Pokemon, because we had an N64 and I got a Game Boy Color and I got Pokemon for it, but for a long while I didn't have very many games, and I wasn't super into video games until Pokemon, basically. But one of the Nintendo Power issues had, like, if you buy a subscription to the magazine, my mom had bought one for Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
There was the issue, or it was either the strategy guide for Snap or a Nintendo Power about Pokemon Snap. She bought it because she was super into Pokemon Snap on the N64, and then after she got that magazine, there was a thing that said if you subscribe, you'll get the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy for free. So she bought a subscription to get that. And then I started reading the Nintendo Powers and became like super obsessive about Nintendo. And then it was just like fanboy central, like, oh my god, Nintendo's the greatest company ever. They make so many amazing games. Everything is perfect. And like this was also where my love of reviews came from, because I would just read the reviews and it taught me about all the games I didn't have the money to play. It really is amazing
how your entire life you've been destined to be an analyst.
Right.
From the time of an early child.
Well, because like I said, you know, we didn't buy a lot of games. We usually rented them, and even then, like, our local Blockbuster didn't carry a lot of games. So typically, I would hear, like, I'd never seen Ocarina of Time or like Perfect Dark around, but I knew about them because they got such incredible reviews. They were like the highest rated games in Nintendo Power. I even remember specifically that when I first got into them, they had a percentage system, and Ocarina of Time had gotten a 98%, and Perfect Dark had gotten a 96%.
Wow.
I remember the review scores from like 15 years ago. And then they had that percentage system, which I don't even have any issues that are old enough to have that.
I remember looking at the pictures in Nintendo Power.
And then they switched to like a star rating system, which was never as cool.
Ooh.
But yeah, so I was obsessed with Nintendo Power, and therefore with Nintendo, and then everyone I knew all had
I'm invincible now.
Everyone I knew had a PlayStation or an Xbox, or when those came out, and it made me so mad, and I hated everyone, and I thought Nintendo was the greatest.
Yep.
And I don't remember why I was telling that story.
Me either. That's I had no point to make once you were done because I'm like,
You've
wow,
been,
I really don't.
You've been like
about.
too concentrated on this game.
I haven't. I mean, I've had something to
You
say.
haven't really chimed in a whole lot. This thing is so adorable. What the fuck is this thing?
You were telling your Nintendo story, man. I let
that
you
thing
rant.
looked like a Pokemon.
That was the squiddy thing.
I know, but what is it?
I love how everything just walks into me and dies.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's Kirby, man.
Yeah.
Oh, right. The point of that was
Pokemon Snap.
that we thought Nintendo was amazing.
Yes.
And there
You were
were
talking about brand
right.
loyalty.
No. Before that.
Okay.
Way before that.
Before that.
I was talking about how it was ironic that I thought the N64 was the best console
Oh.
and was bragging about it all the time.
Yeah.
When in reality, it could handle its cartridges could hold so little data that most N64 games look
The
like
games
shit.
are fun. I was gonna make the point that, like, I've gone and got all these like N64 games that we played when we were kids. Like I used to go around and like go to the local game stores and collect these N64 games because I wanted to see, you know, I wanted to have the nostalgia. And what I've learned is that like any of the games that weren't official Nintendo games all really look terrible. They look like absolute hell.
Yeah.
Like even the Bomberman games, which I love a lot, are just the shittiest looking games in the world. And it makes me really respect that Nintendo games because I'm like, they were just doing something totally new and they did it so right.
Nintendo continually has knocked it out of the park no matter
And
what.
it's nice that they
games.
designed this console and then they totally nailed it with their own games for it. Like,
dude, you know they
knew what they
you've
were
heard the
doing.
story of how Shigeru Miyamoto designed the N64 controller for Mario. Like, watch Matthew Matosis's video on Super Mario 64. Didn't I make you watch that?
I think so.
At one point, he talks about how it's never been confirmed, but it's rumored that the controller was built specifically around Super Mario 64, and it's even theorized that the GameCube controller was also built around Mario Sunshine. Like, because both of them are just the controllers are perfectly made for those games.
If they're designing consoles to play the games they want to make on the consoles.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there was some intention with that on the 3DS.
I'm sure the Wii as well was,
yes, because they had those very specific games that utilize the controls and, like, nothing else did that. I'm sure Skyward Sword was in mind when they made that, even though it's a fuck-up.
I don't think so. I think that probably came later. I think
they tried to do that a little bit
Wii
with Twilight
Fit
Princess
and Wii Sports.
Oh, that's true.
Like, I think the original, like, Wii Sports thing, because that was Shigeru Miyamoto who created those, right? I think he basically always has an idea for a flagship, and they base their controller around the flagship game. And then, but that leads to the problem when there's no standard.
Nobody else can do it.
Right. But it's funny because Nintendo consoles always get criticized for not having enough games.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they have the best games.
Yeah, they have all their games are great games that you're never gonna sell. I always say because I'm never gonna sell a Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna sell all my PS3 and Xbox games. You know, I never end up holding on to them.
Except for like Dark Souls.
You play it, yeah, but that's on everything. And then
right. I mean, there's
it's the kind of thing where I play it a little bit and then I get rid of it.
There's a lot of third-party and first-party and second-party games that are great for every console. I don't necessarily think that Nintendo has more like grade A games than other systems do, but I would definitely say that with Nintendo, you're borderline guaranteed great games.
Yeah.
Because so far with the new console generation, I'm pretty sure the Xbox One has not had a single exclusive game that is not called Halo.
Remakes of Halo games.
Like, legitimately, has there been one?
I don't
think there's been
keeping
one.
up with it.
The PS4 has Bloodborne coming soon, but up
they've
until
been buying
then,
up a lot of exclusives.
everything that
I think Metal Gear Solid is going to be exclusive now.
Everything that has been on both the PS4 and the Xbox 360 or Xbox One rather has been a giant piece of shit. A huge disappointment. Like everything, every AAA game has been a giant. There's not been one that's come out in the new console generation that I've heard promising things about.
I haven't heard
except
good shit
like
about anything.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
And like whatever, like I
could
honestly
have been a PC
feel like
game and it wouldn't have mattered. And
right. I feel like the games that have been getting praised are things that like in a year where you're not in a complete dry spell would not be nearly as praised.
We wouldn't pay attention to them at all.
But then you've got like the Wii U, and you've got fucking Bayonetta 2 and 1 being which you know is important because the original port for PS3 was shit. So The Wii U version is the optimal experience of Bayonetta 1.
The perfect version of Bayonetta.
Right, and then Bayonetta 2, which is also
Which
fantastic.
is fucking awesome. Better than Bayonetta 1.
And then
I thought
you've
it was
got
fucking great.
the Super Mario 3D World, which regardless of how you compare it to other Mario games, is pretty fucking. It's beautiful to look at, first of all, and looks like a lot of fun. I haven't played it yet myself.
I really want to get
Is
that, but I
is
wanna pay
Donkey
50
Kong
bucks.
Tropical Freeze on the Wii U?
Yeah.
And then you've got some games that are out for all consoles. It's got like Deus Ex Human Revolution and shit on it, which is pretty
It's
cool.
like-
Mass Effect 3, but
Yeah.
not the first two, which is fucking stupid. Oh man, new Super Smash Bros, of course.
Yeah, I am definitely a walking ad for the Wii U. They have Wonderful 101, which is a game that's very stressful and difficult if you want a game that is a stressful, difficult action game. I never beat it just because it started to stress me out, and I was like in school and stuff, and I was like, all right, I can't focus on this. Like, it's too hard.
Yeah,
And it's
got
very chaotic.
the Wind Waker HD, which is one
Fucking
of the
amazing. I bought
greatest
the
games of all
console
time.
for that game. Well, we bought it for that game.
What else is there? I feel like I'm missing one or two like stellar titles. Either way, the Wii U. I just named a
love it.
shitload of great games. It's the only console you need to own from the current generation. That's it for this episode. Next time on Doobity Doo, Victor might stop being a rock.